That Sunday, 3 days later, Browns at the Panthers. And, Chris, according to theathletic.com, Baker Mayfield is expected to be named the Week 1 starting quarterback for the Panthers. Look, this is a no-brainer, but they did a decent job of at least making us stop and think.
Yeah.
Maybe there is a real competition. Maybe Sam Darnold can hold him off. Maybe the locker room continues to rally around Darnold without fully embracing Baker Mayfield. But the hay apparently is close to being in the barn. Just a matter of time before they tell us that Mayfield is the guy for Week 1.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think we all expected it to go this way. There's just something about Baker Mayfield. First off, as we said at the time, there was just too many warning signs. The fact that they had gone through a full year with Sam Darnold, gone through OTAs, and we're still there. We were at the end of OTAs minicamp, and there was still the talk of the Baker Mayfield trade and all of that. I think that all led us to believe that they obviously weren't thrilled with Sam Darnold. And then I think when you kick into gear really from the second that like Baker Mayfield got there with all the guys on the team talking about his personality and how he jokes around and talks crap, and I think he gives the offense a little bit of a life that Sam Darnold doesn't bring to the table. And I think for a young team, they probably need a guy like that. You know, you really think about the Panthers, who is their guy? Who is the guy that kind of fires up the troops? You know, it doesn't always have to be the quarterback, but if it's not the quarterback, then you need a guy like Steve Smith, who used to play receiver there. You know, somebody like that can light the fire underneath the offense. And I think Baker Mayfield fills that void. And then also, you know, I think at the end of the day, he's just a better player than Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has some skills. I'm not giving up on him for his career as being a starting quarterback. But there's in the pocket, it was the number one issue coming out of USC. He was great at backyard football. But in the NFL, it's hard to play backyard football unless you're a really special athlete. And I don't think he's quite special enough to pull that off. And then, let's come down to who can work in the pocket and make big throws. And that's where Baker Mayfield, I think, has a big advantage over Sam Darnold.
And the moment the trade happened, we all thought, okay,
right,
they went to get Mayfield because they're not happy with the options that they have. Why else would you make this move for Mayfield? And that's when some evidence started to pile up that, hey, maybe this is just a business transaction, a distressed asset, as owner David Tepper would call it, where you get Baker Mayfield for the mere investment of $5 million with another $3 million or so in incentives available. To get the full $3 million, plus they have to actually get to the Super Bowl and win it, which would be money well spent by David Tepper. They give up a fifth-round pick that could become a fourth-round pick. And Jake Delhomme, former Panthers quarterback, best known for saying to Chris Sims after that game in September 2006, "You don't look so good." Jake Delhomme says back in July that Darnold has the upper hand, and that's when people started thinking, well, maybe there is going to be a competition here, and then there was. See, that's the one thing that I have concerns about. That now they made him earn it,
right,
and that's good, but he didn't get the chance to become as ensconced as he would have been if he was just taking all the first-team reps for all the training camp.
Yeah, that it doesn't concern me, but I hear what you're saying. I mean, yeah, you'd love him to be there, just, you know, in cement, you're the first-team quarterback, boom, and we can go on from there. But I think it goes back to something we talk about a lot, and you just brought it up. You're right. They gotta earn it. You know, again, Sam Darnold's no slappy. There are things to like about his physical ability. So, you know, you got to let the locker room kind of see that and play out. And I think Jake Delhomme, I remember when those comments came out too, it just was more about the offense. But, you know, the offense, he had the head start. But what did we hear really about, 10 days into camp? How impressed the coaches were with how quickly Baker Mayfield was picking up the offense. And obviously was closing the gap in a hurry. So with that team, you know, got a new left tackle and Ike Ekwonu, who I'm excited about. But man, Mike, you and I know they got some firepower. And Baker Mayfield's the guy to me that can sit in the pocket and wheel and deal with these guys. You know, DJ Moore is a top 5-ish type of receiver. He's super, super talented. We've talked about Robbie Anderson. He can fly and scare a defense. And now, if you can keep Christian McCaffrey healthy out of the backfield, I think Ben McAdoo, he's got enough tools in his toolbox there on the offensive side of the ball to utilize all these guys. He just needs a guy that will stand in there and make the right throws and make the right reads, and I think that's where, you know, Baker Mayfield comes into play big time here.
And perhaps the best news is they've managed to figure this out without resorting to, as offensive coordinator Ben McAdoo recently said, cannibalism.
Yeah.
So
right.
no one was gnawing on anyone's leg or anything along those lines. And it was a very civil quarterback competition. That's something that Darren Gant of Panthers.com, formerly of PFT, pointed out. They got along. Maybe that was the first test for Baker Mayfield. Let's see if he's ready to act like a grown-up.
Yeah.
Let's see how he handles not being handed the job. And the message is you're not entitled to anything here. And that's where it becomes interesting, Chris. All right, we know week 1, Browns-Panthers, Baker Mayfield, which makes sense. It's the Browns. Good Lord, that's the one game that he needs to start. But whether he holds the job depends on his performance, depends on his health. Because I think in Carolina, where everybody's on the hot seat, even though they try to say they're not, they are. They're not going to let Baker Mayfield play with a bad shoulder or a bad anything if they've got Darnold at 100%. They're not going to do it. In Cleveland, he was kind of able to bully his way into staying on the field. And he had that attitude. And it wasn't even bullying. It's like, he's already a pain in the ass. He's going to be 100 times worse if we make him sit while the injured, non-throwing shoulder heals. Let's just let him keep playing. Even though they would have been better off for more than just the Thursday night when he didn't play against the Broncos and they won, they'd have been better off full season if he would have healed it up and they'd gone with Case Keenum. In Carolina, the instant that he's banged up, the instant that he's not getting it done, it's Sam Darnold time because Matt Rule is going to be out if this team doesn't do something better than what we've seen the past 2 years.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think the team it's kind of there. Again, I know we've hit on this a little bit, but, man, there's a lot to like about their football team across the board. The offensive line and the quarterback play are the only thing, in my opinion, that has been the Matt Rule, crutch here. And really the offensive coordinator last year with Joe Brady. But I think Ben McAdoo is certainly a big-time upgrade from that. And now, hopefully, the quarterback, can add that, extra few wins to their football team, or at least give them the confidence, and they can get some mojo going as a football team where they can get on a roll like we saw them early in the year last year before it started to fall apart. But I think you're spot on. He was brought in not only to hey, we hope he's the starter, but even if he doesn't win the job, it was their insurance policy either way. They weren't going to just let Sam Darnold and depend on him and just go, well, we hope it's better. So Baker Mayfield, I think, did everything that they wanted him to do as far as taking over. And it seems like he took over the reins of the football team. I mean, there just seems like there's comments out of there every day about his leadership and the way he kind of talks to the players and how he is in the locker room. And then, Mike, I'll say this because, I'm a nerd and I'm sitting at home and watching film and have the NFL Network on while I'm doing it. I did see Baker Mayfield mic'd up for some practices down there in Carolina. He was civil. You could tell there was stretching. He's talking to Sam Darnold. They're talking about things they like for the football team and what they're doing on the offensive side of the ball. I think so. Hopefully he's learned from his mistakes and matured and realizes, he can't be, so cutthroat or maybe, for lack of a better way to say it, the diva first pick of the draft quarterback type of guy attitude anymore. He's got to ditch that. He's going to have to earn it and, get back with the lunch pail and show everybody how talented he is. But hopefully he's turned the page on that and won't have some of those waves that we saw in Cleveland.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.